Okay, now we're at part 3, and I'm still on the hospital stay. This is taking longer than what I thought. But I'm still in the hospital, and they've done the first plasmapheresis, which is the exchange of getting the plasma out of my body. So they take out my blood, separate the plasma, and the plasma went up into this bag, and it was really funny. It looked like pee. Um, or like a really deep wheat color. um, it was just interesting because I figured it would be white, um, but they collected that in a bag, and on the plasma exchange machine, um, they hung they had glass bottles that hung from it, and that's what had the albumin in it. And it reminded me of like old time milk bottles, but I'll never forget the clanking of those bottles, because the more further we went along with this plasma exchange, the more sick I got. And I can remember even being so sick and just hearing those clanking bottles, that whenever I hear a clank now, it's just like I first thought is plasma, the plasmapheresis. Um, So we went, and we were doing that over, you know, 10 treatments over, every other day. And, the longer I'm in the hospital, the more ill I'm getting. And so by this time Friday got there, I'd already been telling, the doctor that was in charge of me, and the nurses, I'm not feeling well, something's wrong. I'm just not up to par. And I kept, and oh, of course you're not going to feel well. You're having plasmapheresis. Kept on telling him, something's wrong. I'm getting very sick, and, I need help. And nobody would really listen to me. None of the professionals, none of the nurses and the doctors. It's just like, they just, of course not. You're not going to feel well. Um, by that Friday, was so sick, and so I had such an uneasy feeling about me, and just kind of like a dread coming on me. And that day I knew my limit had been reached. And I told my husband, I said, if this catheter, this port and everything, is not out of me I gave him a time. I said, if it's not out of me by 3:30, I'm pulling it out myself. Something needs to be done. Somebody needs to listen to me. And I called my parents, and they live 2.5 hours away. And I said, I'm severely ill. I'm dying. That was the direction I was heading. Um, I had it. I knew I was dying. And I said, you guys need to get here, and you need to get here quick. And my husband, he went throughout the hospital, finding doctors, finding nurses, trying to find somebody to listen to him. And in the meantime, my parents, they made it into town. And finally, I don't know who my husband got, and they got me back down to the heart cath lab. And by the time they got me there, it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So my time limit was getting there, and I was really going to pull that out. And they got me in there, and my temperature by that time was 105 degrees. And the neurologist, my husband had also called her, and she come, and when I went back into the heart cath lab, she went in there with me, and they're giving me medications it's the Versed and Demerol combination. You won't remember what's happening, but they can talk to you and stuff, but you won't remember it. And they gave me this medicine, and they're getting ready to take out the cath. And I said, are you going to give me more medicine? I said, I'm here, I'm alert, I know what's going on. And they're going, oh no, she has Versed. And I'm sitting here going, no, I'm wide awake, I know what's going on. And they're going, we have to get that catheter out of her now, because my fever, they're afraid I was going to start, seizing. And the neurologist, she goes, just hold my hand, Tremia. We're going to make it through this together. And I said, okay. And they go in, and I thought, okay, I'm going to feel this, and it's just going to be, 4 to 5 inches coming out. It turned out to be a minimum of 12. I think it was more like 16 inches long of that cord and that catheter going down into my heart. And I'm not telling, it's not a fish story. It was really that long. And they pulled that out, and I felt every inch of it. I knew every single thing that was going on, and my body temperature was going up. And they sent the catheter off to pathology, and it come back that it had staph infection on the end. So my temperature was due to my body had already went septic, and people do not live through sepsis. The majority of people die. I lived through it, as you can tell, and I will start there on part 4. See you guys in a minute.